Are you seeing all of this? Are you seeing all this? Because these controllers are all controllers I spent some time with, and I'd like to share with you my controller roundup. What I like, what I don't like, which one I prefer, which one is my go-to. We're gonna go one by one. We're gonna check out each controller. So strap in, have a seat, let's get to it. The next wired Nintendo style controller. This one's a little bit more like Super Nintendo, you know, because it has the bumpers and it has the X and the Y. You know, if you just want to build like a cheap emulation build, these little controllers are fine. There's nothing good about them. I mean, there's just so many of these cheap controllers out there. I really don't see a huge difference between these. These go for like $5, and there's other brands, and they're all just so similar. They're fine. They do have really short cables. Cheap. VI Buffalo Super Nintendo controller. Basically the gold standard for Super Nintendo controllers. It has turbo added to it, but other than that, it's really just a really standard Super Nintendo controller that works for a lot of platforms, Raspberry Pi, computers, things like that. So because of its compatibility and its universality, it's just a really great go-to controller with a nice long cable that you can always extend if you like. So this is a cool one. This is a Logitech, I want to say 740 or 710. They have another model that's wired that's much cheaper, but what makes this one so great is it's actually not Bluetooth. It is 2.4 gigahertz adapter, so you do have the choice to put whatever kind of batteries you have, and then it has a dongle, so it's very easy to configure. As long as the unit in which you're playing with has it, you can switch between digital and X input. Really nice triggers, really nice feel, great rumble pack inside, has different modes. It has kind of an 8-way style D-pad, really nice analog sticks. This one has a lot of use in it. This used to be my go-to controller pretty much all the time for a really long time there. But it's a solid controller, and as you know, Logitech products, they make a product and they just make it forever, so you can still buy it. Like I said, you could buy a wired version of this, which I did own for a while, but I got rid of it or I gave it to someone. I don't like the wired one because A, I think it's made quite a bit cheaper than this one, 2, it's wired, and 3, it doesn't have a rumble pack. And I think there's some other functionality it doesn't come with. So you get what you pay for with this. I think it's like $40 or so, but you can get them recertified, sometimes renewed for a little cheaper. So Hyperkin makes 2 of these Sega Genesis style controllers. This is the one, I'll put a link to it. I know it's like the Plus model where it has a mode button. This mode button actually really comes in handy quite a bit, but it has that nice little 8-way style D-pad. And as far as Neo Geo, arcade games, or Sega inspired systems, or Sega systems, this is by far my go-to, no doubt. So this is one I would definitely not get rid of. I just think it's really good to have, or Sega Saturn, right? And it's really good to have in your arsenal because it definitely serves a purpose that a lot of the other controllers can't exactly do. A 3x3 button configuration, and then that 8-way D-pad, and then that boomerang shape. It's definitely very unique. We have the Hyperkin GameCube controller, wireless Bluetooth, has all your triggers. Great for Super Smash Brothers, a nice controller to have. Would not be my do-it-all controller. It definitely serves a specific purpose, but a nice one to have in your catalog. The Wii U Pro controllers, and if you missed it, I did a review. They make a great adapter for these to make them work on more devices. I have the generic one and the original one. The original one definitely has better build quality, but they're quite expensive, where you can get the generic ones for quite a bit cheaper. Great controller, love the analog sticks, great for almost anything Nintendo, but also it reminds me a lot of the Xbox 360 controller, just with a little bit different configuration. The biggest downside to these is the throws and the compatibility issues, which is why I have that. The throw on these triggers on the back are not very long, so it gives you a very different feel than your traditional triggers, but some people like that better, some people do not. All right, the 8BitDo SN30 Pro Plus. It's basically the SN30 controller with the added grips for the PlayStation, but it does come with the removable battery. It does have the rumble pack. This is their flagship controller, and this is by far one of my favorite controllers. I'm not a fan of any of the other 8BitO controllers, especially the earlier models, because I have big hands and they really didn't serve me very well. Although I understand that they're, you know, very compatible with many different things. They have lots of features like turbo mode and configuration and things like that. But you know, for this one, it was truly fantastic. Highly, highly recommended. The Wii U gamepad. Does this even count as a controller? I don't know. Right, Xbox 360 style controllers. I've used genuine Xbox ones, which are great. I don't have one here right now. These two are Afterglow, made by the company PDP, and then this is a Rock Candy. The Rock Candy, really just right off the bat, does not come with rumbles, no vibration. If you notice, they're missing out of the inside, which actually makes it look cooler because it's more clear inside. You don't see the rumble packs. Where these, you can see these little things right there in each handle. Those are the rumble packs. But I just love the Afterglow. I love just these see-through controllers. I think they're rad. The cool thing about the Rock Candy, though, it has a detachable USB, which is not, most Xbox controllers do not have that. Both the genuine one as well as these Afterglows as well. I mean, that's a hard solder there. Because these have the rumbles in it, you're going to get a lot more weight. If you think this is too heavy in Xbox controllers, go get this Rock Candy. It's light as hell. If anything, I don't like it because it's so light. But I love the look of it. I love the white over the blue versus the black, and the genuine ones are black as well. Xbox 360 controllers are a gold standard, again, similar for retro gaming emulation. You can just play everything on it. Dreamcast, Nintendo, you know, you name it. They're great, and they're super, like, as far as compatibility goes, I can hook it up to almost any Raspberry Pi and never have an issue, or computer or whatever. So they're really great as far as in those regards. And then they're beautiful when they're glowing. And then also, I would say the last thing on these is price to performance. A lot of these, I get them on sale for $15, $20 brand new with their long cords, great functionality. I just don't think you can beat that a lot of times. PlayStation Classic controller, the one with the USB, because it's for the Classic. It's a PlayStation controller. It's aight. I wouldn't use it for much more than that. So this one's kind of a dark horse controller. It's called the Pro Wired controller for N-Switch. Now, I don't use it for a Nintendo Switch. I use it for the Raspberry Pi. But I thought it was a cool little find because it does come with a cool little Type-C to USB adapter, which these themselves are, you know, a couple bucks. And then the controller itself is really cheap as far as expensive, you know, the cost. And then it's basically like a Wii U Pro controller for super, super cheap. The D-pad's a little weird. It looks more like a cross, but it's got these cool little grips on there. The bumpers and triggers are pretty much exactly like the Wii U. It's very light. It feels cheap. But like I said, I want to say I spent like $10 on this or something, and I was just like super blown away with that. It basically did everything I needed it to do. And it was compatible with the Raspberry Pi and a few other devices I tried it on. Alright, one of my arcade sticks. This was a custom build. You can buy this case. Basically get a little plastic box here. And this one actually has the 2 extra side buttons on it. And these are LED lights, so if you notice, my 2 outputs are one power for the lights, which is nice because you don't have to draw power from whatever device you're using, and then a USB. And this is just a typical encoder board in there that'll work with Raspberry Pi or whatever. And I mean, it's a cool little arcade stick. It's definitely sturdy compared to the next one. And then last but not least, my Puma Pi kit. This is a Puma shoebox, and I've owned it for a really long time. And honestly, I can't ever get rid of it now. It just has a legacy behind it. All I did was I cut little X's and I shoved the buttons in there. You can see it's cool because it opens up just like a shoebox. And there it is. Let me zoom out a little bit here. I mean, there it is right there. You got your thing. And I actually had to put some Loctite because the screws were getting undone. But it works. And then I just there's a little hole on the side where the cable comes out of. Size 12, baby. This is actually real shoes I purchased. These were real shoes I purchased. And now I have my arcade stick. And it's cool, it works, I love it. Alright, and now comes 3 controllers that I couldn't find or my brother's currently borrowing them. One is the GameSir G3S. Make sure you get the G3S, the one that comes with the dongle. This is going to work for RetroPie and a lot of other systems. I believe if you shop around too, you can get it with a little cradle that will allow you to put a mobile phone so you can do mobile gaming on it. But this is like a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 style controller, and it's awesome. It is really great. It has everything you're gonna want in a controller, and it's a gold standard in my mind. Another one is the T1S. Now the T1S, as you see, has a little bit different of a D-pad, but it's actually very similar to the G3. The biggest difference is it has this little flip-up holder. It has a little flip-up holder that comes out of the controller, and you could put a cell phone in it. So it comes stock with the cell phone attachment. It also has more of a granular material to it versus like a smooth material on the G3. You know, look into them both. They're both solid choices. I want to say that this one tends to be a little bit more expensive, but you can go ahead and look those up. And then the last one is the G4. The G4 is basically a really high-end Xbox 360 style controller. It is beefy, it is heavy, it does everything you would think it would do, and it has a cell phone cradle on it, ready to put and play mobile games. Really good. Another kind of a flagship of the GameSir series. But for me, I don't do much mobile gaming, so the Xbox 360 controller is, you know, a little better for me as far as price to performance. But again, this is going to give you a lot more possibilities. There's a Bluetooth version, there's a 2.4 gigahertz version, same with these other two over there. But I did want to give the GameSir controllers because those are really solid controllers that I have owned. I do own, I just can't seem to find them for the video, that I would definitely keep in my arsenal as well. Something I did want to address in this video is I do not currently own a PS4 controller, a PS3 controller, or an Xbox One controller. Those controllers are all really dope. If you have them hanging around your house, for sure, those are good controllers to go with. So there you have it, YouTube. That's the controller roundup. As you see, quite a variation, everything from $5 controllers up to $50 controllers, different uses for each. But, you know, you want to have a few controllers on hand in case you ever have someone come over. And it's just having the right tool for the right job. That's what it's all about. And I have fun checking out new controllers and you know, trying out new things. It just gives another aspect to the retro gaming, to gaming in general. So with all that said, let me know what your favorites are. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if there's a controller I need to check out. And we'll catch you on the next time.